This baker died in an accident and couldn't fulfill his biggest dream, so they gave him a chance to embody the new world. Now he is the son of a great warrior, but he found out that his village would be attacked soon. So they took him to a church and awakened his hidden powers. He won't let anyone misinterpret his dream. He wants to defend this world and someday create a country full of sweets. Somewhere else, we see a village completely engulfed in flames. Those present comment that it seems like everything of value is junk, there isn't even enough food. So, the leader says they'll have to see what they can steal in Morley. Meanwhile, in Mordelane, they are preparing for the attack. Their father ordered his workers to gather stakes. Just then, Sheet arrives. It seems he doesn't bring good news. He informs them that the bandits attacked and burned the Knights of Lita's village 3 weeks ago. They've already reached Ladover. At this rate, they'll arrive here before 2 months. In that case, his father asks Pastry to send a message for the chiefs of each village to come immediately, and tell Contra and Glasses to come as well. Pastry agrees and rushes off. Meanwhile, Pastry is thinking that the bandits will arrive before those 2 months are up. He must have them by any means necessary. He won't allow anyone to stand in the way of his dream of creating a country full of sweets. Luckily, his father managed to assess the situation quickly. He temporarily closed the other villages, ordered the wells to be covered, and the houses and fields dismantled. Then, he brought the inhabitants of those villages here to lure the bandits. His plan is to narrow down the places they can attack. Just then, Six informs him that he has brought all the people his father hired. His father asks how many days they can hold out, to which Sheet responds that it'll be 3 days at most. They eat once a day, maybe 7 times at most. However, Pastry thinks their strength isn't enough. Aside from his father and his servants, everyone else is a farmer. In a battle of endurance, they'll be at a disadvantage. But he supposes his father and the others are aware of this. Now they need a plan. Someone mentions that his friends will also help. After all, their fathers are subordinates of his father, making them quasi-direct subordinates of Pastry. Just hearing the name of his childhood friends gives him the chills. Lumi asks what kind of magic Pastry got. Mark has no idea. He says it's something they've been training and hasn't told him. In any case, he thinks it's cool and tells them that Pastry got ahead of him. They don't ask what he's talking about. In case they didn't know, no one beats him in fights. Lumi doesn't pay it much attention. Mark assures that they'll see. Suddenly, Lumi asks if he heard something. He humbly replies that he has terrible hearing and doesn't think he can rely on it. But then Mar asks him to be quiet and look into the distance. He drops the stone in his hand when he sees the bandits approaching rapidly. They warn the village that the bandits have arrived. The village leader orders the gates to be closed and the bridge pulled up. They can't let the bandits in. He also asks the boys to go with Pastry. Meanwhile, Pastry's mother takes her little ones inside. Just then, a villager arrives and asks if it's true that the bandits have arrived. Can they really fight against them? At that moment, his father arrives and asks everyone to calm down and pay attention. He explains that if they leave, the bandits will steal their food and burn their houses. However, they won't allow that. They need to be prepared. There isn't a coward among them. He asks if they're ready. They reply that they are. He knew he could count on them. The villagers are frightened, but he managed to motivate them. The sun will set soon, and the bandits will attack until night falls. They need to show what they're made of. He asks Contra to go east, and he'll take care of the center. His friend reminds him that the bandits aren't familiar with the terrain. They'll be at a disadvantage. If they act at night, they might wait until dawn to attack. His father replies that they probably don't have much food or provisions. With last year's frost, neighboring fields must have been scarce, so they won't want to wait. Even though attacking tonight is disadvantageous, Contra asks what if they don't come. If they keep the citizens on guard, the enemy won't attack. He argues that they shouldn't leave the enemy room to retreat. His father thinks he's right. Pastry asks what he thinks. He replies that they lack information. First, they need to know exactly how many men and how much food the enemy has. It's like baking sweets. You need to know the ingredients, time, and temperature. You have to know all that before you start. He reminds them that when baking, patience is essential. His father already knows what to do. He orders Aaron to go on a reconnaissance mission with Sheets. At this hour, they could surprise them. He'll stay in charge of the village's defense. If the enemy attacks the boys, they will retreat, leading the enemy away, and then circle back from the north. Pastry tells them to be careful until they return. They should do everything in their power. He asks Mark and Lumi to prepare signal arrows in case they're not here when his father and Sheets return. Also, Lumi should let Glasses know to prepare those arrows. Additionally, if while his father and Sheets are away, they hear horse hooves from Lee's, it means they're being attacked. Lumi asks if he doesn't want to be able to hit his father. But Pastry knows that shooting an arrow from such a distance won't reach him. He's right. After all, he's seen him dodge before. He remembers how he scolded him for throwing a stone at him. He also tells him that even if the bandits know the terrain, if they follow in the dark, they might lose their way. The arrows will also serve as a guide. Everything's explained, so he tells them he's counting on them. Then he hears a girl saying that she's very scared. Her sister is trying to calm down some little ones. Her mother tells them to go inside and speaks to Pastry. She asks him to be careful. He once thought he could live only thinking about sweets, but in this world, if he doesn't protect his domain, he won't fulfill his dream. He'll make sure it happens, no matter what. His father wants the battle to end tonight, even if it means putting himself at risk. He's taking charge of everything. He asks the citizens to get ready for the fight against the bandits and gathers all the children and men in one place. Back in the forest, she uses his special ability to pinpoint the bandits' location. He informs his father that the situation is grim. The bandits used to be knights, evidenced by their 5 well-maintained horses and skilled riders. They number around 30, suggesting they are likely professional mercenaries. The bandits have also captured some villagers, intending to use them as slaves. Pastry's father refuses to allow his family and people to be subjected to such cruelty. He tells everyone to prepare for battle. He gathers the children and men in the village, ready to stand their ground. Meanwhile, the bandits report to their leader that there are no weaklings in the nearby villages. They've blocked the wells, preventing their use. The leader realizes that they were baited away from the other villages, and he orders the bandits to set off. Understanding that Pastry's plan was to draw the bandits' attention away from the other villages, the villagers join forces to repel the attackers. Despite their disadvantage, the villagers manage to disrupt the bandits' formation and keep them at bay. Pastry intervenes, using his unique power to replicate the pain of others onto the bandits' leader. This strategy causes chaos among the bandits, allowing the villagers to counterattack and fend them off. In the midst of the battle, Sheets warns his father that the bandits are targeting the children. With determination and teamwork, Pastry's friends and father help turn the tide of the battle in their favor. The bandits are overwhelmed and defeated. The leader's injuries worsen due to the replicated pain, and the villagers successfully repel the attackers. The battle concludes, and the villagers celebrate their victory, relieved that they managed to protect their homes and loved ones. Pastry reflects on the importance of safeguarding his dream of creating a sweet-filled country. He knows that his father's goal is to end the battle tonight, even if it requires taking on a leadership role himself. With their successful defense of the village, they have secured their safety and are one step closer to realizing their dreams. The story continues with their journey to build a world where their aspirations can come true, and they can live in peace. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more anime videos.